Okay, problem number 41, section 2.4 from the E textbook. We said the problem, the estimated distribution in millions of the population by age in a certain country for the year 2015 is shown in the pie chart. Make a frequency distribution for the data. Then use the table to estimate the sample mean and the sample standard deviation. Use 70 at the midpoint for 65. So I want to use an spreadsheet Excel, so we can include these values in the interval or in the what is called in the class, and here are the frequencies. So here is the one I created. So here I want to put the age, the lower and the upper limit for the ages, the midpoint, the frequency. Then I need to multiply the midpoint by the frequency, because the sum of these values divided by the sum of the frequencies is going to be the mean. To find the standard deviation, I need to subtract the mean from each midpoint and then square it, and then multiply the result by the frequency. We need to add all the results. The sum has to be divided by the sum of the frequencies minus 1, and then take the square root. Okay, for the first class we have under 4 years, so the lower limit is 0, the upper limit is 4. For the next class from 5 to 14, 5 to 14, next class is 15 to 19. Then we have 20, 24, 20 to 24. Then it's going to be 25 to 34. I'm just writing down these classes. Then 35, 44. Then 45, 64. And lastly 65 and over. And so here is any other year. Okay, let me organize this in the center. Now the midpoint is the value that falls between the 0 and the 4. That is going to be easy. It is going to be the number 2. Which number falls between 5 and 14? You can figure out that number or just enter here a calculation. Remember that the midpoint is going to be the sum of the two limits. So it's 5. Well, let me use this number plus this number and close parentheses and the total divided by 2. So I insert the cells in the formula. So now I just can copy all the way to here and automatically give me the midpoint. That is the value that falls in the middle. So for example, 39.5 is going to be between 35 and 44. And for the last class, here is suggest to the 65 and over, use 70 to represent that midpoint. So here is going to be 70. Now the frequencies are going to be, now enter these values over here. So for the first class, the frequency is 19.5. For the second class is 43.5, then 17.6, 20.3, 52, 41.4, 81.3, and lastly 58.6. I need to add the frequencies, so let me put here the sum, and the sum for all these is presented here on the bottom. I see is 334.2, but also, and I prefer, we can insert here the formula. So put the sum, open parentheses, highlight the values, and this is the answer. If you highlight it, you will get the same answer, 334.2. And now here is going to be the result when you multiply the midpoint by the frequency. Let me insert the formula. So equals to the midpoint in this number times the frequency is this number. Enter. And to copy this formula, just select this point and scroll down. And now to get the sum, just move the formula over here. And this is the sum for this part. So let me put it in the middle. This is the sum. And now the mean is going to be equals to, according to the formula that you can see over here, let me show you when you see the example. The formula to find the mean is going to be just the sum, the result when you get the sum, when you multiply the x value, which is the midpoint, by the frequency divided by n. And n is the sum here, n is the sum of the frequencies. So therefore in Excel, to find the mean, just divide this number by this number. So equals to the result here divided by this result, and enter. And now in the problem is asking to round the mean to two decimal places. So what we can do here is select this button to decrease the decimal until you have 2. So the answer is 39.49. This is the mean. 38.49. Enter here and check the answer for the mean. Okay, let me see what is wrong. So maybe I mistyped something here. Let's see, from 0 to 4, 5, 14, 15. Yes, this is 19, my mistake. Okay. And now because I found the mistake, everything is actually recalculated, and also the mean. So the mean is 38.6. So be careful. You need to enter correctly the values. Next one is 25.34, 35.44. Looks correct. That is the only mistake. So it's 38.60. So here is 60. And now it's correct. Now let's calculate the standard deviation. So to calculate the standard deviation, I need to subtract the mean from the midpoint and then take the square root of the result. Let's do it. Equals to, inside parentheses, the midpoint, which is this number, minus the mean, which is 38.60, close parentheses, raise the result to the second power, so we insert the caret, that is for powers, and then 2, second power, and enter. And just copy the formula by selecting this small square, and then scroll down. Now, I need to multiply this result by the frequency. So equals to the result times, so insert the asterisk, times the frequency, this one, and enter. And now just copy the formula down to here and put it in the center. Now I need to get this sum. So you can copy the formula for the sum all the way to here. Of course, I don't need this sum. You can clear it, but I needed this sum. So therefore, the standard deviation, and you can see it here in the question help. Yes, if you click on continue, you get the formula for the standard deviation. And it's here. So it's going to be the midpoint minus the mean, all squared, multiplied by the frequency. Then we need to add this symbol, this is the summation. We need to add all the results and divide by n minus 1. Remember that n is the sum of the frequency. So to the sum of the frequency, we subtract 1, and then take the square root of that result. That is going to be the standard deviation. So manually it's going to be complicated, but here is not too much. So then let me enter here the standard deviation is going to be equals to, okay, it's going to be the square root. So enter the formula to calculate the square root of is going to be this number divided by the sum of the frequencies minus 1. So let me enter inside parentheses this number minus 1 close parentheses for the denominator, and I need another parenthesis for the square root, and then enter. And so the standard deviation rounded to 2 decimal places, let me take here until 2 decimal places, is 21.87. So enter here the answer, 21.87, and check it. And it is correct, and this is how we completed this question.